Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. We are here for episode 6 of P-Valley called Savage. I must warn you, this is a heavy episode if you didn't watch it already. It pertains to mental health. I don't know why I did that, but it pertains to mental health and suicide. So if these are triggers for you or too much of a heavy topic, I encourage you to click off right now. Um, yeah, because it's just they tried to make it light in the beginning, but it got real heavy at the end. So, and I had to get me a drink, child. I was like, there's no way I can talk about this just straight through. So let me take a sip. All right, so let's jump right on in. So fake Drake is digging down Big Bone, but he's not seeing Big Bone. He keeps seeing Crooked Letter. And it's messing with his head. It's just like, why do I still see her? Like, why am I still attracted to her? Like, I shouldn't feel no type of way towards her, but we know he still has feelings for her. That's why he's so upset that she pulled the gun on him and could have potentially killed him when all he wants to do is save her. Um, and so when he gets up, like after they're done, he goes to the bathroom and Big Bone is like, why you wearing a condom? Like, I want that in my mouth. And it's like, girl, no, I don't know you. I'm not, no, bitch. Like, what are you talking about? Um, and she goes to the kitchen and like pours herself a glass of water and she notices Montavious ring. Now, everybody says she came from Texas, where everybody has the theory that because she's from Texas, where Montavious was from and where Haley used to be from, she's gonna notice that ring, which she does, and she's like inching closer to touch it. And fake Drake tells her, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And she's like, why do you even have it? And he's not asking the questions that he needs to be asked. I'm like, what do you know about that ring, and why do you want to know about it at all? Like, do you know who that ring belongs to? Like, you got something you want to tell me? But he tells her that he's gonna be security for a spades tournament later. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out why that didn't sound suspicious for her. Like, why does there need to be a security for a space tournament? But she's just like trying to be real sexy, like, next time I want that dick in my mouth, like just trying to be cute. And it's just like, girl, we don't even want you with him. We still low key want him and Keyshawn to get together. Um And oh, then she asked him, why don't you do security for the Pank no more? You must have tried to save a hoe that didn't want to be saved. And he got real mad, like, who told you that? And she's like, I could tell by your eyes that's what happened. And he's like, no, um, you know, just things change and that's it. So Little Murda gives Teak a car. What is it? The Hurtville Hustlers, all the whole gang out in the parking lot. They doing donuts, they dancing, and just having a good old time. And he wants to show his appreciation. Like, you held us down on the inside, and so we gonna hold you down on the outside. And the car is ugly. I'm not gonna lie to you. Them niggas, them Christmas colors that they throw up, this red and green, it looks a fool. And that car was ugly. But it was a nice present. It was a nice thought. And to see Teak actually smiling was real good. It's just like I love this. I want to see you happy. Um, so Teak is getting a shape up. He's getting his hair cut. He got his beard lined up. He's looking good. And the barber says something about him being casket sharp. And the way Teak looks at himself in the mirror, I'm like, this is foreshadowing this whole fucking episode. Um, but Little Murder gets a call from Cricket Letter, so he runs outside like, "Man, I've been trying to call you. I've been blowing your phone up. What's up?" And so she tells him, Rome Sniffer Sweeper, he tried it, and he's like, he tried what? And she's like, it. And he's like, well, good thing he did then. And she also tells him, I also told Wody, Undertaker, about you, like the fact that Rome knew about him. And he's like, how did he know about that? And right when she's, I guess, about to tell him about the tape, here come Derek ass, who you on the phone with? Like, bitch. So she quickly hangs up. So he don't know how they know about him. And it's just like, oh my fucking God. Um, Mercedes is bringing groceries over to Shell, and she's still hungover, drunk, probably again. And Shell tells her, Terica isn't here. She's over her friend house. And Mercedes is like, which friend? But she don't know. She don't care. That bitch is drunk. And she tells her, you called her a mistake. And she's like, no, no, I would never. But it's like, even if you try to deny it to Mercedes, Terrico's standing right behind the wall, sweetie. So they both heard you. You cannot deny that you said this. And then, of course, as a drunk does, they try to blame it on them being drunk. And Mercedes mentions, she's like, we could get you some help, but as a as an alcoholic would say, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't need help. I just need to find me another job. It's like, girl, do not blame your drinking on the pandemic. You probably was able to hide it better, but you probably always been this way. Um, and so once again, Mercedes is like, I could take Terica off of your hands so you wouldn't have to worry about it. And she's like, no, she will never go to your house. She will never live with you full time. And she tells her it's a difference between being a mother and being a parent. So she will never go to your house. She will be with me like she belongs. And so that's why I've been saying, since Mercedes is complaining about the money that she was making at the bank, she need to go on to Miami or go to Atlanta because she is never getting Terica back. Like, take your talents to South Beach and make some more money and just let it be that. And so as she's walking out the house, she gets a real call from Coach this time instead of luggage to finish the Mercedes experience. So now we have Big Teak and Lil Murda sitting at this little restaurant, and he got him some wings, and the waitress is flirting with him like, "Ooh, light skinned niggas is coming back in style." And Lil Murda's like, "Can you go get us some waters, please, and one for yourself too, with your thirsty ass?" And she's like, "Ooh, don't be mad." Um, no, that was Teak. Teak was like, "Don't be jealous." He like, "Ain't nobody jealous, but she need to get her thirsty ass out your face." And so then he asked him, he's like, "So what is this? What is Clifford like? Like, what is he like?" And I love that we respect pronouns. And Lil Murda was like, "She." That's what she likes for people to call him. And he's just like, he like, "What?" He like, "I don't get it either, but I respect it. That's what she wants to be called, so that's what we call her." And I'm like, "Yes, we love it." Um, and I it's just something about his face. It's like, why would you tell him about this? Because when T asks about Uncle Clifford, he's like, "So tell me about her." And I call him a fool because the way Little Murder basically gushes about Uncle Clifford, it's like, why would you sit in this man's face and like tell him that basically you would hang the moon and the stars in the cloud for Uncle Clifford if you could? And Tika's just looking like he's trying to be happy for him, and like he even taps Little Murder's hand and is like, "You're forgiven, all is well." But you could tell that it's literally killing him on the inside. And he says, everybody moves on. It seems like the whole world has moved on. And that's how it is I'm saying it like I know from personal experience, but I know from family members and other people who have been to prison. It's like you're at a standstill while you're in there, and the world is going on, as you're locked up in there. So he's coming out trying to experience all of these new things, but everybody is just like whizzing past him. So he just feels like it ain't no need for me to be here because I don't fit in. in this environment, in this world anymore. It's not for me. Um so Crooked Letter, like Derek leaves, he goes somewhere. He offers, like, do you want to go? And she says no. So as soon as he leaves, she opens up a vent. She got a pink little gun. She grabbed her gun. She got two bags like strapped to each side, and she got a baby on each hip. And she's out the door. She's like, we're gonna go on a little trip. It's gonna be fun. And I'm like, yes, you are finally getting the fuck out of here. You realize that it's time for you to go. But as soon as she tries to start the car, it don't start. And so she opens the trunk and is looking in the back and realize he must have took something with him to make sure that she doesn't leave. So it's like, fuck, I'm stuck. So but it confuses me though, because I'm like, I know she got money, and I know she probably got some money saved. Why you can't call Uber? Like, ain't no Uber in Chucalissa to come get you? Because it's like, the fact that that car don't start and she couldn't take it, she just so easily accepted defeat and went back in the house. I'm like, I know he tracks her phone, I know that, but it's just like, you couldn't get, you couldn't use that phone to go to one location. Then as soon as you get to that location, you get rid of that phone, you buy yourself another phone, and I've seen enough. I've seen enough domestic abuse movies to where it's channels that you can take to get away. So it's like she's getting to the point where she's tired, but she still ain't tired enough. Um, so look, Lil Murda and T, like, even at the gas station, he didn't even know how to put his card in the machine to use the machine to put gas in the car. And while Lil Murda is showing him that, he hears his voice on the radio, like, and now the way he approached that other car, I would have been looking at that nigga like he crazy too. I'm like, back the fuck up. But he's like that once again, like when he was sitting outside the club when they was jamming to his song, like, that's my motherfucker. So it's like, nigga, back up, back the fuck up. But it's him and what Meg the Stallion is using her other name, Tina Snow. So they on the radio, it's going crazy. He done stood on top of T car, he rapping, and everybody else like, oh shit, that's you. Turn it to this radio station. It's crunk for a minute. Until the guy behind him, like, man, is y'all using the pump or what? Get y'all asses out the motherfucking way. And automatically Teak is on go. He like, man, what the fuck you saying? He like, Lil Bird had me left. He's like, you lucky I don't let him go. I should let him go. I'm like, no, I don't let him go. Let him on back. Bring him on back. And then like a lady walks over, like, well, since you famous, let me get a pic. And Teak leaning down like to take the pic, and the man gets out his car again, like, man, are y'all fucking serious? I was cracking up. He's like, if y'all don't fucking move, I just want some gas so I can go. And I'm like, you know what? I feel you. Because when you don't know people and it ain't your happiness, it's like, that's great. But get your ass off the fucking way, please. um, so so Mercedes shows up, like they're once again all in the condo together, and luggage is feeling on her thigh, and Mercedes is like, we need to act like that never happened. Cause ain't he gonna be mad? And luggage gonna tell her, well, let him be mad then. But then when he comes back from the kitchen, she's like, I don't know what you're talking, like, she acts like it never happens. And so then we cut to fake Obama is putting in his bid for mayor. And Fall shows up, but she's immediately kicked out by Corbin because it's like, what are you doing here? Because he made a little speech, and it's like, whatever bullshit he said, the people are like, don't nobody really clap for him. It's like, yeah, nigga, whatever. And then she's like, I got a question. What makes you think there could be prosperity for all? And he's like, look at me. I'm a black boy who had a drug addicted mother. And then once again, bringing up Mayor Goddaddy how he had faith in him and he's here to stand and do this. So he wants to make sure that he can put that back out into the community. And of course, as soon as he says that, everybody's just clapping it up like, oh, yes, we love to see Negroes achieve and try to be better. Yes, Negro. Yes, Negro. Because there's nothing but white people in there besides Fake Obama, Whip Boy, and Fall. All the rest of them are all white. Like, oh, that's so cute. Cute for you. You want to be better in life. You actually want to be something. Um, but we have, Coach is having sex with Mercedes and luggage is on the side just filling her up. And then all of a sudden, he stops and looks down and see how much they're enjoying each other. And luggage is going to like when I say she got that finger, like she is going to town. And once again, Mercedes is being very loud, and he like, what the fuck? And he just stepped back and looked as luggage brings Mercedes to completion, and it's like these bitches been hooking up behind my back, and he's going to town on both of them like. I know a pro when I see one, so this ain't your first time doing this shit. And luggage reveals to him, we've been married because he said something about them being married for 19 years. And she's like, that's right. We've been married for 19 years, and you don't know that I like women just as much as you do. You don't know nothing about me. You just so busy, getting your pleasure and making sure that you were satisfied. You didn't even think to ask about me, know what I like, or nothing like that. And that nigga is hurt. He storms away like, both of y'all done hurt me. And he tells her, your sponsorship is over. Your services are no longer needed. Thank you. And she's like, well, you still got to pay me my 40,000 for the rest of the month. And he's like, the hell I do? She's like, no, 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 no. That's not what that contract said. Those are not what those papers that I signed. And even luggage is like, yeah, you can't break the contract. But then she holds up Mercedes shoes and gives them to her like, sorry, girl, but this been my life for the last 19 years. Like, I'm used to it. You on your own, basically. But once you just the same one who said let him be mad, but when he actually get mad, you fold and shit. Like, okay. Um, So the spades game, it really ain't nothing but them stripping on the low. And the same guy that um Roulette sucked off in the passion room, he's now looking at Whisper as if she's something special. Like, and tells Roulette, damn, can you hook me up with her? I'll offer her 2K just to eat her out. And she's like, damn, I wish I would have had the pleasure of laying on my back instead of getting on my knees. And he's like, man, you gonna hook me up or not? And I'm like, once again, we are hit with this light skin privilege, not saying that it's not a thing, but it's like they just make it such a focus point in this show that the light skinned are treated better. And she I guess actually had to put in work while Whisper really ain't got to do too much of nothing, which is true. Cause it's like the tricks and they both be doing tricks, but the work that Roulette be putting in compared to Whisper is some BS. And in the real world, especially when she take them contacts off and she look like her regular self, Roulette is getting chose over Whisper. Let's just be honest about it. And if you say that's not true, you're a liar. Cause regular Whisper, like her everyday face, she do not look better than Roulette. And even still, she looks fucking crazy with these contacts. And like they did something to her face, like the makeup and shit. Cause ain't no way she should be getting chosen. But it's like, of course, the light skin over the dark skinned girl is treated better, and that's fucking Roulette up. Cause we get a moment where at this party she's just staring at herself in the mirror like I really got to work twice as hard as this bitch, and she really ain't got to do too much of nothing, and she's making as much if not more money than she is. So then she's sitting out in her car like smoking a cigarette, just still thinking about that like fuck, my life is really fucked up. And here comes Duffy yet again. I'm like, y'all really trying to make them a thing, and I do not care. I don't care at all. So he's like, what's up, you're the most beautiful, you're the most beautiful woman in here. And she's like, yeah, what, out in this parking lot compared to Whisper that's on the inside? And he's like, no, you're the most beautiful woman in the world, like that I see. So they start kissing, and she's like, I like you, but I'm a hoe. And he says, well, Isn't that a coinkydink? So am I. And it's just like, okay, like I don't care, y'all. Um, so Crooked, she's back in the house, she's sitting on the couch, and she has her gun and she's just waving it. And at one point has it pointed at the door as Derek pulls up and is about to come in the house, but it's like as soon as she hear his keys, she quickly stuffs it um on the inside of the couch. And it's just like we coming up to the point where mama is about to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I can't wait to see it. Um so Murder is FaceTiming Undertaker because they said they not finna stay at home. They finna get right back out on the road and try to get this tour popping again. Um And I forgot to mention, like, if you didn't know, Crooked Letter, she's all bruised up in the face. She has a black eye. There's marks on her cheeks. So even if she wanted to, she wouldn't be able to get back on the road because she can't right now. Um, but Teak gets out the car and Undertaker lets him know like he can't come back on the road. And Murder is like, "What you mean? I can't fire him. He just got out of jail." Undertaker's like, "He's too much of a wild card. Like your security gonna need security, and we ain't got time for that." And then he mentions Sniffer Sweeper OD, and he's like, "It's funny that you say he OD when like don't nobody supposedly know how he dies. That hasn't been released out to the public yet." And Wody is looking at him like, "I got this shit done, okay? Like, and if you don't want to be the one to tell him, then I'll be the one to tell him. But he not coming." Basically, like, so you might as well get the fuck over it. And so he opens the glove box and sees a gun. Now he thought that T went inside to get some weed, but that house is fucking empty. Um, and Teak is standing in front of this door where he hears nothing but screams. It's a multiple children screaming. And then he opens the door and he sees a little boy there with like blood running down his neck. And like that's just taking over his mind until you see Murder in the back, like holding out that gun. Like, why would you come in the trap house without bringing your heat with you? And he's like, "Man, I didn't come here for weed. That's not what I'm here for." And he's like, "So why the fuck are we here then?" He's like, "This was my house." And Murder is like, "Yeah, this was your house. This used to be your house. Like, we popping off, nigga. Like, and pretty soon we gonna be buying houses. Like, this ain't you no more. Put this in the past. This not going with us." And he tells him, "After tonight, we're never coming back here. So don't even worry about it." So grandma out of breath is literally out of breath. She is sweating. So Uncle Clifford like took, I think, her excuse me, what is it? I forgot. My daddy takes this shit to check they like blood levels and stuff. He's like, "Yo, blood level is normal." But anyway, she takes her temperature, excuse me, and it's 102. And so she she gets Toy on the phone, like, "Toy, how you feeling?" And Toy coughing up a storm. He's like, "Bitch, I knew there were no motherfucking allergies. So not only do you got COVID, but now you done gave it to grandma out of breath." And she was already sick. So I'm sure pretty soon grandma out of breath ain't gonna be on the show too much longer. Um, so Lakeisha Savage, she didn't leave. Like when Corbin kicked her out, she didn't actually leave. So she's walking up with somebody who is very important. I didn't really care to get her name, but she gets into the room where all the men are in, and she's like, "Did you know that Bill tried to buy the pink for $40,000? And how would it feel if it leaked out that he was, what is it, under buying from black owners to try to get the casino underway?" And she's like, "I want you to pay me what it's really worth." And she's like, "How much is that, Andre?" And he says $10 million. And so this lady, whoever she is, she's like, "Oh, I like you. Sure, no problem. We'll talk about it." And then Corbin is like, "Wait, what about Andre and his bid for mayor?" She's like, Sure, whatever. Like I really don't care who's running this little ass town as long as don't nobody get in the way of my casino." So in the end, she got what she wanted after all. And fake Obama lets her know because she's like in his house at the end of the night while he's on the phone with Corbin, because Corbin talking big shit. Like, man, she's so fucking dumb. She don't know like how it is down here, and she makes her presence known by like, I think I'm pretty smart. And he's like, I'll let you win at that auction. And she's like, you know what? You're right. You're in control, Andre. What do you want? Yes, sir. Yes. And I'm like, I get that this is supposed to be sexy, but it's the opposite of sexy. Her crawling on the floor, this sex scene, like, y'all are so boring. Nobody wants to see this. So it's just like, okay, well, y'all finally have sex after what are we on? 8 plus 6, 14 episodes. Y'all finally have sex. Whoop de doo, whatever. Um, and we have Little Murder and Teak, like they're out in the middle of the woods, like they singing some Outcast, just reminiscing, and then they get in the car, and Tika's like, where can I drop you off at? Because I need to go do something. So where can I drop you off at? And Murder, he can already sense where this is going. He's like, you're not dropping me off nowhere. It's gonna be me and you up in here because I already know that your thoughts are gonna get dark and you ain't gonna do nothing but just sit here and be sad. So I will stay with you until the morning time and you clear your head. And Tika's like, man, where the fuck can I take you? Because you're getting out of this car. And Little Murder, like he is trying his hardest. He's like, man, we got houses to buy, babies to have, dreams to make come true. Like, you can't leave me right now. And Tika's like, it's over for me. My light has burned out. And Murder is just trying so hard. And he's like, no, I see it for you. I can dream for you. And it's like, you can't, baby. You trying so hard and you can't. You trying to live for somebody that don't want to live and you cannot. Sometimes it's just over. And that is okay. That's the sad part. Like when it comes to suicide and people don't want to talk about it, and it's like, no, they could have lived, they could have talked to somebody. Sometimes it's just over, and you're being selfish, trying to keep a person here that does not want to be here. Like, that's just the bottom line. You're just being selfish, making it about you and how you want the person that they used to be, or even what you think they can be, and they don't want that. So you can't make that happen. And you just gotta let it go. And so, Teak is holding the gun to his head and he's like, I can't do it no more. Like I don't want to do it no more. And, they're both crying and he says, what is it? Hurt Village Hustlers for Life, right? And Murder's like, yeah, for life. And of course we get the outside of the car and you hear the boom. And I'm fucked up. And I know I'm fucked up, but all I could think, I said, not on that white suit. And sure enough, when he climbs out the car, that suit is bloody. And Murder, that fucked him up. He's never gonna be the same after that. I don't even know how the show is gonna continue after with him not having like him having to see that. Cause even if, T couldn't come on tour no more, they weren't able to see each other every day. It's like having to witness that though, like I'm speechless. It was like that fucked me up. But then we have, Terica's not Terica, Mercedes is at home and like somebody is banging on her door, but it is Terica. And Terica just falls into her arms. She is sobbing. Like baby is broke all the way down. And Mercedes is trying to figure out, like what's going on. But then Terica hands her a pregnancy test. And it's like, oh, that's why you breaking down. You went out there and did the same thing your mama did, even though she kept giving her shit like in the first season and making little slick comments. She literally went out and did the same thing she did, which is got pregnant at a young age because we don't know how old the boy is, who the boy is, even. It's just like now you pregnant. What you gonna do with this? And then Murder went to Uncle Clifford house and that's another, like banging on the door. Now grandma out of breath, she's the one that opens the door and says, Daddy? is that you? And I'm like, oh, now she hallucinating. But Uncle Clifford moves her out the way, like, child, please go sit down somewhere. And you know, she sees murder and see the blood on him, and murder is like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not okay. And, he breaks down crying in her arms, and she wraps him up and pulls him into the house. And that's how the episode ends. And like I said, they've already established that we have a week off and then we're going to jump back into it, which I said, yeah, we definitely need a week off to process this shit. And then hopefully we get back to some ass shaking and just strip clubs. Because I understand we got to have little murder plots on, I mean, not murder plots, little story plots on the side, excuse me, but god damn, please free us. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. um Peace.